Hello, a very good morning. Welcome along to Ireland AM on Virgin Media 1, Virgin Media Play.
Monday the 16th of December. We hope that you had a lovely weekend. Here's some of what's coming up on today's show.
It was a busy old weekend in sport. At 7:15, we're going to be looking at the latest, the Manchester Derby. Lots of rugby, lots to discuss.
Poor Pep Guardiola. Poor Pep. We'll be chatting about him, won't we?
Said nobody ever.
Why? I like Pep. What's wrong with Pep? OK, we'll talk about him in just a little while. Now, Holyhead Port, it remains closed following damage that was sustained during Storm Dara. We were talking about this last week. We're going to find out what that means for your Christmas deliveries a little bit later on. I was talking to a postman the other day and he was like, oh God, people are getting quite angry and, you know, they're just trying to do their job. So how have you been? Have you been affected about this? I know it is a tricky time for shops and indeed for maybe some parents. So 0896 111 111.
And also 150,000 people are hoping to get the ferry home.
Yeah.
Are you worried that the kids might not make it for Christmas? Married at First Sight's Jay Howard is going to be talking to us about how the show aims to change perceptions around people with disabilities.
Yeah, she's got a brand new show coming out. But Deric is in Dublin this morning. How's it going, Deric?
Yes, good morning team. Well, ahead of our trip to Limerick later on this week, we've landed here in North County Dublin. Bit of a breezy start under the cover of darkness out there at the moment. Some nice sunshine to start, then showers moving in across the west and the north. So a little bit of seesaw weather action as we work our way into the last full week before Christmas. Now, Meekstown in North County Dublin is where we're at this morning, and we're paying a visit to the Dublin Dog Hub now. A dog not just for Christmas but for life. And we're going to be catching up with the one and only Linda Martin and all her volunteers. We're going to be talking Christmas, we're going to be talking Australia, Adam Clayton, and of course dogs. So that's all to come right across the mind. But for me and all the crew, my lights here. Yeah, back to studio. We never disappoint, do we?
Oh,
wow!
His Christmas baubles.
Yeah, cool, Derek. Fair play to you. Put a bit of cheer out there. That's just what we need on a Monday morning. Derek, we'll catch up with you later.
Now it's time to take a look at this morning's papers. We're starting with the Irish Times. The headline there, government persists with Israel case despite loss of embassy. The Israeli government announced yesterday it was closing its embassy in Dublin.
The Examiner also leads with Harris rejects allegation of Irish anti-Israel stance. Ireland will not close its embassy in Tel Aviv, the Taoiseach has said, despite Israel accusing the government of extreme anti-Israel policies.
The Herald's, their front page, violent thug quizzed over Temple Bar attack on Gardaí. A violent criminal has been arrested on suspicion of attacking two off-duty Gardaí in Dublin city centre over the weekend.
The Star and the Mirror both go with that same story. The Mirror saying thug held over attacks on Gardaí.
The top story on the Daily Mail reads, water shortage now stopping us building homes. Uisce Éireann has warned that thousands of new homes pledged by the government over the next 5 years may not be built because there's not enough water.
The Sun leads with taxi clue to Karen Riddle. It states that missing 8-year-old Karen Dernan was not in a taxi that collected a prime suspect in his murder.
And finally, the Irish Independent leads with Sinn Féin bid to snatch key Dáil job by slashing obscene pay packet. Sinn Féin TD Angus O'Snuddig has vowed to give back some of the €255,000 salary if he is elected as Ceann Comhairle later this week. They are your headlines, but coming up we're going to take a look at some of the highlights from the weekend in sport.
Plus later on we're going to be finding out what the Holyhead port closure means for your Christmas deliveries. 0896 111 111 if you are waiting. We'll see you back after the break.
Welcome back. Now, do you know what there was over the weekend? There was sport. Sure, there's always sport, isn't there?
There was a lot of it, though, Moira.
Always a lot of sport.
Here to talk through everything is Gavin Cooney from the 42 and former Dublin footballer Paddy Andrews. Good morning to you both. Lads, we'll talk Premier League, the Manchester Derby yesterday, Gav. We'll get into...
You're so happy.
This is it. We always talk about Man United the bad days. As a Man United supporter, congratulations.
This is it. This is what it's like.
2-1 win over Man City.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing on a very boring game.
One of the worst games of football I've ever seen.
Let's just put this out there, yeah?
It was so bad. And the surprising thing yesterday was, you kind of expect Man United to be that bad, but Man City's decline just continues. They're unrecognisable from the team we've seen over the last 5 or 6 years. So that contributed to one of the worst spectacles I've seen in the Premier League in such a long time. But what a result. The last 2 minutes, Man United looks like it's going to peter out for a 1-0 Man City win, but a late comeback by Man United, and the big story before, and the new manager, he dropped Marcus Rashford and Garnacho, which I think the Ray are going to enjoy this one, yeah.
The big talking point from it, or certainly after match, because the match wasn't great itself, was Kyle Walker and a dive, and Roy Keane was losing his mind after
Kyle Walker,
this.
known for his integrity, that man, isn't
Well,
he?
exactly.
So, past,
so it was a bad challenge on Walker and Hoyland, was it?
Yeah, so
and Hoyland came.
Walker fouled Hoyland. Hoyland shot up and they went, usual posturing, forehead to forehead.
I think he knows how to be mortified. I'm going to be honest. We've seen him all over the Daily Mail for the last
Standards
year.
are loud.
Yeah.
So Hoyland took a picture of that. I posted a picture of that on his Instagram. Said, Rose are red, violets are blue, Manchester in red, and the Oscar goes to...
Nice.
I like that. We have it there, exactly. Fair play to Hoyland. It's all going for Man United at the minute.
We're back, baby. We're back.
Winning it on social media.
We have to talk about Pep Guardiola. This man that we've really enjoyed. He's brought such panache. He's brought something to the Premier League himself. Just his interviews, the way he is, and he's falling apart. He's talking about how he's not digesting food properly. He's not sleeping at night. He's scratching himself. His nails are all gone. He's really stressed.
He said in his post-match interview yesterday that he's not doing well enough, that it's his job to fix this. I do wonder, he's been such an absurdly successful manager. He's never gone through anything like this before, and it's very interesting to see how he deals with it, and so far he's not dealing with it. And I don't think his touchline behaviour is helping things. The Man City players look completely gone, like mentally shattered. They didn't play well at all yesterday, but they were still 1-0 up with a couple of minutes to go. But as their player Bernardo Silva said, we played like under 15s. Mateus Nunes makes the mistake with that back pass and then gives away the penalty. They find a way to lose. And I don't think their managers carry on the sideline is very reassuring. Like, what is it about this man that's kind of scratching his own skin off in public, which makes us think this guy maybe not the best in a crisis?
If you're looking over to your manager for some sort of leadership or guidance, particularly when the pressure is on, Pep is having a breakdown every match.
Yeah.
It's like literally, was it last week, the Champions League game? He's scratching his face.
Well, he's cut his nose, and you could see in the post-match he had scratches all over his head. He then said that he's self-harming, and then he had to clear that up after with a tweet talking about how this is a very serious matter and it shouldn't be taken lightly. I mean, the stress. And listen, this is on all managers. And it's interesting, Paddy, like I've been on a losing streak, but it was a Man City have lost 8 and 11. I don't think people will feel a whole pile too sorry for them because they have won, 6 titles, but it's getting to them. And you go through phases of doing team socials to try and break the...
You try everything you can.
You try train harder, and it seems like they're going through this route of really pushing the players. And then the fear comes in and they feel like they can't make a mistake. Because it's not the Man City we're seeing of old.
No, and I think the big thing, whatever about one of the initial kind of first 3 or 4 games, there was a lot of talk around the intensity, the energy in the team. And you could kind of see that the team has kind of grown old together. And then that just compounds and you start losing 2 or 3 games, and that's when the nerves come in. And you've seen them in the Champions League against Feyenoord yesterday. They're making the most basic mistakes. They've whatever about intensity and energy, but they've no confidence anymore. And we've been in situations like that where it's the most basic thing that you do in your sleep normally. That's what pressure is, and it comes on to you. And you take an extra second to make a pass, which is second nature to you. And it's Man City are in that space. And the interesting thing from the outside, whatever about Guardiola's mental state, he does not seem to be dealing with it well, but he's never been in this situation. In a 15-year career, he has been the team, the standard bearers, won in every league and every team. He's never been in this situation before, and he looks like a normal manager now.
He does, like a human.
He is definitely not dealing with it, nor are his players. So I don't know where they go from here, because the confidence is gone completely.
Good for Amarin, though, the Man United manager. He'd be happy. We better move on. There's a lot of the sport goes on at the weekend too. Let's talk rugby. Connacht won yesterday in the Challenge Cup against Perpignan. Losses for Munster and Ulster, disappointing for the pair of them. Leinster, a win at home against Claremont, but not the most convincing of wins either. Gavin.
Yeah, pretty fitful, wasn't it? Did they score in the second half at all? I think maybe that was 15-7 at half time. Yeah, fitful and all kinds of problems, especially with their line out and kind of handling, sloppiness, and you can put some of that down to the weather because it took a turn for the worse in the second half. But Leo Cullen was quite honest afterwards, saying, look, at this level, we're not playing at the level we need to go on and win prizes. So it's been, like Leinster and Ireland, I mean, the two teams are so similar. Both teams, when they're at their best, they often mirror each other. But there were parts of that Leinster game which were like the worst of Ireland in November.
When you have the likes of Jordy Barrett, though, who comes in, is fantastic. It's in the Aviva Stadium. And then Snyman, like they really need to be pushing it this year, don't they? Like the pressure's on Leo Cullen this year.
They have to win.
They have to win. Really, I completely agree with you. They'll tell themselves that they had to win the last couple of years as well. But when you're splashing out on Geordie Barrett and Orgy Snyman, that is to win, and it is to win now. You know, so there is big pressure on.
Yeah, and there are restrictions around Orgy Snyman, but we don't have time to get as to when he can play and when he can't play. But we're going to go on to the Sports Personality of the Year because that was awarded last night. It was awarded to Paul O'Donovan.
Yeah, I mean, an embarrassment of riches in terms of the shortlist.
Yeah.
It was very, very difficult to pick a winner. RT ultimately went with Paul O'Donovan, who is our greatest Olympian ever, probably, with medals now.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Medals now at 3 Olympics in a row, and I think he won a Worlds in a single sculls as well, not long after
Is that the trophy?
Olympic game.
He's got his own wind turbine.
Put that on the
He's getting
mantelpiece.
wind
No
energy.
black tie at the event last night.
Roisin Nureen, very quickly, she won the junior as well. Huge. She did such an amazing job at the Paralympics. But Paul O'Donovan, you thought that there was a lot of
I don't know.
You
competition.
don't fancy this.
We're
you don't
lucky.
like this.
Paul O'Donovan, fantastic, but like I kind of think Daniel Whiffen, surely 2 golds in the Worlds, like breakthrough star, a gold and a bronze as well. Surely he would have
He
been.
swam in the Seine, lads.
I would have gone.
You got the eat.
I would have gone.
Personality-wise as well, he's an incredible. He's a very unique. I know Paul O'Donovan
But so is
as
Paul
well.
O'Donovan.
I know, but.
Yeah.
I thought, and even Kelly Harrington.
As well.
Like, what an
Taylor.
Olympic Games, which was sensation.
Yeah.
And then Katie Taylor outside of the Olympics.
Such a ridiculous year. Like, it's so hard to pick anyone.
Yeah.
I would have done the most reductive thing and said, just put your medals on the table. And the whiff had the most this year.
The whiff had the most.
That's why I would have picked him. But, like, you can't. I don't begrudge Paul O'Donovan.
No,
What
I
about
don't.
manager of the year? Willie Mullins got manager of the year.
I mean, he's a horse trainer. I mean, is that really a manager? He's also, in all
there's going to be complaints coming out
but
here.
like, he'll have winning horses in races, but he'll have more losing horses in the same races.
Yeah.
He's undoubtedly brilliant at what he does, but he has massive finances relative to other trainers.
So who do you think?
Damien Duff.
Right.
Like, it was
Duffer.
a home run. Like, Duff won. The League of Ireland Trophy is the most difficult competition to win in Irish sport. It's the longest and most attritional. He did it with a relatively tiny budget and ahead of teams like Shamrock Rovers, who are unbeaten in Europe after 5 games going to Stamford Bridge next year. I can't believe he didn't win it.
The personality award, you talk about someone like Duff and the eyeballs he brought on
Yeah.
to League of Ireland soccer all throughout the season has been incredible.
Yeah.
Shout out Kieran McGeeney with Armagh and
yes,
my
of
GA
course,
hat on.
yeah.
A Division 2 team, no one had them anywhere near winning the Sam Maguire.
And even Clare
they
as
did.
well, yeah.
Clare winning with
O'Donnell
Brian
was
Lohan.
up
So,
for it too.
do you
But
know
also what
guys?
they've done in relation to Gaza and Palestine as well. You have to bring it in, like David
Joey
Duffin.
O'Brien.
Joey
and-
O'Brien's done amazing.
A brilliant
it's amazing
story.
what they've
So
done.
surprising, but do you know what? It's a good problem to have that there's these incredible candidates for both
Well,
managers
isn't
and
it
players.
lucky and embarrassment of riches for a
exactly.
small country to have so many successful sports
So we'll
people?
do it
Well
now. It'll be
done.
the Gavin Paddy Sports Personality Manager of the Year. Is that what we'll have right
You
now?
go.
Oh, wait,
I'd
nice.
go with Duffer. I'd
Triple
go
one,
with her.
triple one. Do you agree
Sports
with Duff?
Personality of the Year has been won by Paddy Andrews again.
I've done a lot of work off the pitch, Gav. A
Great
lot of work.
personality, always doing his bit.
So much, guys, having you here. Let us know what you think.
96 111. Yeah, would you have gone for Willie Mullins? Who would you have gone for Sports Person of the Year? We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, coming up, we're running through today's top news stories.
Plus, we're going to hear the pros and cons of banning photos in nightclubs.
When's the last time you were in a nightclub?
Yeah, well, we don't want to see any pictures of it. We'll see after the break.
Now, yesterday, Israel announced that it will close its embassy in Dublin after Ireland's decision to support a petition accusing the country of genocide.
Joins us with that story and everything else this morning is Lorcan Nyan from the Communications Clinic. Good morning to you, Lorcan. So this news came in yesterday and the Irish embassy to Israel is going to close. What impact is this going to have?
Yeah, look, it's incredibly difficult to see what impact it's going to have at this point, but it was, I suppose, almost in some ways very expected and yet very unexpected. I don't think anybody necessarily saw it coming, and yet, look, it is following, a historic, really strong tensions between Ireland and Israel. So they've decided to close the US embassy, the Israeli embassy in Ireland. This comes on the back of withdrawing the ambassador after the recognition of the Palestinian state. And look, it goes right back all the way through, where, like, if you go back to the 1980s, Ireland being the first EU country country to recognise Palestine, not to recognise Palestine, but to say that there should be a two-state solution, and then running through. I mean, even before the recent conflict, I mean, there's been a long-standing criticism from Israel that Ireland are anti-Israel, and in the statement of closing the embassy, they said it's just the long ongoing anti-Israel policies as well as the anti-Semitism they claim from the Irish government because of their various positions. I suppose what is relatively interesting about this is Ireland has taken positions that are similar to other countries, 14 other countries, as well as the recognition of Palestine. We're not the only ones who did that, and yet we are the first ones who they have closed the embassy. So they do have a specific issue and a specific criticism of Ireland above others, where they seem to think that our statements are worse or our statements are more unusual than
because
ours.
it's when it was Spain and Norway and us, we all got together and kind of said, OK, we're going to do something here. Their embassies are staying open in Norway and in Spain, and all the other 14 countries. They are not taking any position on those countries.
No, and I think there's probably something happening here that in general, Ireland are quite aligned with other Anglophone countries. In general, we're quite aligned with the US, with the UK, with Australia, with New Zealand, with Canada. On this issue, we're not. So I wonder, is that part of the ongoing frustrations that Israel would have, where they're kind of looking at similar countries and saying, why are ye such an outlier here? Where there have been, headlines even before the current conflict where, in Jewish newspapers saying, why does Ireland hate Israel? This goes back a long, long way. And because Ireland have consistently been very strong on their stance on Gaza, on a two-state solution, looking at the 1967 borders, we have been consistently very, very strong. And I think we'll continue to be very, very strong, regardless of what happens here. Ireland obviously, via the Taoiseach, completely refute the allegations, and particularly around anti-Semitism.
Absolutely.
And they said that they're not anti-Israel, they're pro-peace, pro-human rights and pro-international law.
OK, we're keeping our embassy open in Tel Aviv. We're not doing anything in relation to this. But you've got a strong interest in an area where your work is American politics, and you look at all that. Obviously, we're sitting here when you see something like this. All of us are thinking about the multinationals, and if there is what is going on this chessboard? What is the play here from Israel? Is there some sort of a play here?
I'm not sure if there is necessarily a long-term strategic play from them. They have acknowledged consistently that we pose it difficultly for them at an EU level because we are consistently a relatively strong voice. Right. So, look, that you need to look at the tech sector, you need to look at the multinational sector, but from an Irish point of view, I generally don't think the government are looking at that. I don't think they're thinking that way.
Do you think so? Do you think Simon Harris is not worried that potentially Israel and their influence on the tech sector and the money that it's bringing into Ireland could not be a worry for the country?
I think they're obviously consistently worried about looking what's geopolitics happening at the moment. I don't think when they're looking at this either morally or politically right now, that's top of their agenda. Because if you look at it from across the political spectrum, and I think across the public spectrum, there's nobody overly critical of Ireland's stance being too strong here on the Israel issue. So I think politically it's what they're going to continue to do, but also I think they think it's the right thing to do.
And calling something a genocide doesn't mean you're anti-Semitic, by the way. They keep on conflating those two terms. It doesn't seem right. 0896 111. Let's talk about what's going on with Holyhead. I was talking to a postman the other day and he was like, it's very stressful at the moment. People are getting a bit antsy. And now we've got delays on packages getting to Ireland, on goods getting to Ireland, and 150,000 passengers relying on the ferry to come home for Christmas.
Yeah, because obviously there's a huge amount of people coming home from the UK. They are bringing lots with them. They are bringing the presents from the UK. So they're in the cars, they get the ferry, but now they're worried that they won't just be able to take the quantity of people coming through because there's been real issues in Holyhead. And then obviously there's the backlog of the packages, which they've, to be fair to them, done a huge amount to address and are making big progress on. But now the knock-on effect of that is, will we be able to take the number of cars and passengers coming through? So there's a lot of talk of rerouting via different routes, maybe, a couple of routes that go into Belfast, going into Belfast and driving down instead. Right. So there's a lot of panic, and obviously we are a nation driving home for Christmas, getting the ferry home, and look, we're a nation of immigrants. So, the big return home.
Do you think, would it be acceptable if I tell my wife that she's not getting a present this Christmas because it's stuck in Holyhead?
I think it's acceptable to say, I ordered it, I really hope it's coming, I really hope it's on the way.
Can she not go, I'll send my mum up to get it for me then, will I?
Well, she's not much use. She's not going to be able to get the ferry across. She's stuck as well.
It's a ready-made excuse.
Isn't it?
It's a ready-made
because
excuse.
I ordered it weeks ago.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
In June, I think you are.
I believe
yeah.
I go onto the app, track the parcel. It seems to be stuck around Holyhead somewhere in a
It
big
seems to be,
container.
isn't it?
Provided you can print out a picture as well as the receipt of payment, click it together, put it in an envelope, say, there you go, it's on the way,
But I
Tommy.
mean, are you worried at home when the wife is going to say to you, where's my present on Christmas Day, and unfortunately it's still stuck in Holyhead? Or the kids were meant to bring it home and they're stuck in Holyhead. I mean, it's a bit of a disaster, isn't it?
Stuck in
Maybe there's
Holyhead.
some younger kids saying, I can't make it home, man. I'm so
Can't.
sorry, I was going to be
Terrible.
coming, but
I
I
got
can't.
stuck in Holyhead one time. It wasn't such a bad place. You wouldn't miss Christmas. You wouldn't really miss. Anyway,
There's a story behind that, isn't there? There is an absolute story behind that.
089 611 111. Are you concerned? Do you have a business? Are you impacted on this with your parcels and what's going on over in Holyhead and the blockage there? Or even about your kids coming home? We'd love to hear from you. Now, UK's biggest Christmas tree farmer reveals what makes the perfect tree.
Yeah.
Tell
He does
us.
indeed.
Does
Tell
he?
us. Oh, are you ready for the reveal?
I am
Okay,
ready. What
right.
makes the perfect tree?
Perfect tree is freshness. It's like a flower. The fresher the tree, the better it is, which
So
I
you
don't think is
so
overly
don't
shocking.
get it the last week of November then?
What?
That's not good.
If you keep it, you need to keep it watered.
Yes.
As you go along, don't put it next to a radiator, which doesn't necessarily mean the perfect tree, but it stops the tree getting worse. And it wants to be well layered, but with gaps for tinsel, apparently.
Tinsel.
So basically, the best tree is the tree that looks greenest, freshest, nicest, and looks the best, which I think is pretty.
I don't think we needed to go to someone about that.
There's different brands of trees or different.
Yeah,
not
this man
brands.
doesn't go into any of that, Tommy. I
because-
think I think he sells one brand of tree, which is a tree that he grows. And you walk and you say, well, if it looks the best, it's probably the best. I put my tree up though, kind of like before the last week of November, because we tend to go home to various different counties for Christmas, so we get the most out of it.
Yeah.
So at this stage,
Is
it's
it
just
a
shed.
Norwegian fir? Is this,
Yeah,
you know?
there's the different. What's the best brand? What's the best like?
I think the Norwegian firs are up there,
because
definitely.
I'm finding my one this year is very.
Floppy.
It's too wide at the bottom, so you can't get past it.
We had to hack most of ours off. It
Exactly.
was terrible because we couldn't get into the kitchen.
And where sometimes they're too sparse. Let us know if you know at home what's the best Christmas tree, Norwegian fir
Just
or
send us
whatever
a
it is.
picture of your tree. Will we just look at people's trees this
Yeah, but
morning?
tell us what brand it is and what make it is, what break of tree it is. What's the term?
There's not
for it?
one person in
What's
this
the
country, Tommy,
Prada
who
brand?
knows what brand of tree they have in their garden.
There's a tree farmer watching this morning and he's going to help me out.
0896 111
Please.
111.
Help
Oh
me
my
out.
God, he's going to go into Christmas trees next year, isn't he? Is that that's what you're going to bring out next
Faux
year?
trees.
The faux
Lorcan
tree.
Dyan from the Communications Clinic. As always, great to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Lorcan.
I have plenty for under the tree more, and that's it. Now, coming up, we discuss whether snapping a selfie in a nightclub is it bad for our social lives.
We'll see you very shortly on Ireland AM.
Now, a nightclub in Manchester has divided the dance floor with its strict new smartphone policy preventing clubbers from taking photos or videos when inside.
But is it a step too far? Here to discuss is DJ Ray Shah, an influencer and content creator, Niamh O'Connor. Thank you both so much for being here. It's a
Guys.
pleasure. So this is obviously, so it's a proper nightclub. We're not talking about going into, late night bars or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they have decided you've got to put a little something over your camera, right? That's it. What do you make of this, Niamh?
I think I see both sides of it. Like, I feel like we don't live in the moment anymore. Like, I even find myself thinking that, like, I spend a lot of my night kind of just recording what's going on around me and then never looking at the videos ever again. So I can see both sides. I think we don't live in the moment, so it would definitely encourage people to just enjoy life and enjoy the moment a bit more. But also, I feel like, I don't know, I'd feel maybe a little bit unsafe not having my phone or not having my camera, because I feel like, I don't know, it's a bit of security. If anything happens, I can be like, yeah, I'm recording you, kind of thing.
That's really true.
Very interesting on both those points. But like that you have all these videos and people are videoing each other, but
Yeah.
you never actually look at it.
Never.
We have a question on this as well we want to ask you at home as well. Do you feel that you are not living in the moment anymore, particularly when you go to concerts? I see it even at rugby matches or a night out as well. When you go to see Santa as well, you're there filming and
recording.
picturing it as well. Ray, but at the same time, nightclubs are becoming less and less. So if you're asking people to cover up their phones, it's another reason for people maybe to say, I don't want to go anymore.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something they're going to have to trial first. I think to suddenly go in, oh, that's it, no more phones, you can't bring your phones in. I think it is going to keep a lot of people away. Maybe you could have like a phone-free night, maybe it was a Friday or something like that. But I do think it's something that you can't just suddenly say, that's it, we're banning phones, because...
you can't go mental though, or you can't enjoy yourself either if people are filming it.
Well, it depends.
This is the thing, right? Because I think everything is going up online these days. That, like, talking to, my niece who goes out, she'll be like, oh yeah, sure, everyone has a phone in your face. Yeah. That they kind of go, put your phones away, lads, so that they can have a bit of fun. Because next thing, they're already thinking, if an employer sees this 5 years and I've gotten drunk one night and I'm falling off a table, that's there forever.
Well, you only have to see
forever.
Some of the stuff that's gone online with some young people now, and you're thinking, why did you do it? There's phones around, so why would you put yourself in that situation where it's going to go online, it's up there forever, and you are going to get a lot of abuse from it?
Yeah, but you've had a drink. You kind of don't, you're not aware of what you're doing.
Do you feel that you can let loose on a night out anymore, Niamh? Like, do you think that you can go out and actually just dance or go mad as if the phones are nobody's watching?
No, I feel like, do you know what? I feel like everybody is so hyper aware all the time of, like, cameras being around and even just recording themselves. Like, I remember a few years ago, we used to just go out and go mad and that's only I'm only 27, so that's only a few years ago. But now I feel, I don't know, everybody's a bit more prim and proper and everybody's very vigilant of what's going on around them now. So I think we've lost that kind of, like, just go out and have fun and
it's
don't
social
care.
media. I think social media is the big thing. It's all about how you look online. You have this, it's a fake way of, oh look, I'm having the best time ever. And even when I'm DJing, you do see people, and it's all about taking pictures of themselves and doing the poses and stuff to the camera instead of actually just enjoying themselves.
Because I know you bring out a flip phone now, do you?
Yeah, I have it in my pocket.
What? So what does that stop you?
It's like a little tiny little flip phone, and it's like, like a very... Here you go.
Hold on a second now. It's got a camera with a mirror on it though, so surely that's going to take pictures.
It's an old camera.
That's perfect for taking pictures.
Are the brows working? Are the brows looking good? Are the brows looking good? So what, does this stop you from... This is the cutest phone ever.
Isn't it?
Oh my God, I want it so bad.
It's going to go through the roof.
What? Is this an old school sort of a phone?
Yeah, it's like really old. It's like a 2002 camera on it. But I haven't used it yet because I haven't been out. But the idea behind it was that the camera is really bad. It has no memory. So it just calls really and texts. You can take pictures. But it's to try and I find myself always being on my phone, even sitting around a table being on my phone all the time. So it's to try and disconnect. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I'm going to try.
Good idea.
It's the one thing I do see as well when I'm DJing is sometimes you see a group of friends and they're literally all on their phones. It's like you've forgotten how to converse with each other, how you forgot to enjoy yourselves and live in the moment, as you said as well. And you see some people as well swiping.
Oh no, that's the thing. Trying to find a date while they're in there. Is there a proximity thing?
Yeah.
Oh, there is, so you can find someone in the nightclub that's there.
That is,
would you not just go up and get the shift?
Well,
You need to swipe.
Did you go to a gig with your daughter as well?
I did, yeah. Now, see, I would have been I would have been more kind of phones, leaving phones at home and stuff. But I want to capture the moment sometimes with, those. I suppose, like say my daughter, she's 8. We went to go see Becky Hill. And I wanted to get her reaction because it was her first time in the Three Arena. And just her there, waiting for Becky to come on stage. I literally just videoed her. I didn't care too much about what was going on around her. And I was so happy I did because her face when she got that, when she saw Becky Hill, it was magic.
I was the same with Sammy Sausages at the weekend. I was watching Alan Hughes' panto, checking out. It's actually brilliant. But my daughter, I have videos of her going mad for Sammy Sausages. So well done to Alan. But it is true having the bit, like it's nice for memories to look back at that. So what do you think is the future, Niamh?
I don't know. I don't think it will ever work to take people's phones off them or their cameras. Like, I feel like people will always find a way around it, won't they? Like, whether that's bring a second phone, like, people will always find a way around it. So, like, it's a nice idea, but I don't think that it will work in practice.
Does the dance floor still fill when you play Maniac 2000, Ray?
Oh, it does. I only played it on Saturday night and the place went absolutely Bananas.
That's all I need to know. That is what I need to know. I live for that song. That is so good. You can let us know. You can get your phone out, swipe the QR code, and let us know. Have we forgotten how to live in the moment?
Stop
Yes.
live in the moment and listen to us. Don't be doing that. QR code.
88%. Niamh O'Connor and Raisha. Happy Christmas. Thank you for coming in.
Guys, thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it. Now, still to come this morning, former Housing Minister Eoghan Murphy is going to talk about the ups and downs of his time in office.
Plus, presenter Jay Howard lifts the lid on Married at First Sight. We'll touch you very shortly on Ireland AM.
Hello, you're very welcome back. We've got lots more still to come in today's show.
We do indeed. Now, presenter Jay Howard, we're from Married at First Sight. She's going to be talking to us about that programme and also about how she's aiming to improve awareness of people with limb differences.
Former Housing Minister Eoghan Murphy is going to be here to tell us about how a chance encounter with Enda Kenny in a bar led to a stint in politics.
Your time is coming. Surely you've met Enda Kenny in a bar at some stage, have you?
No, I have not.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I'm not going into politics.
We might find it.
You.
And we're going to meet 3 small business owners aiming to brighten up your Christmas gift giving.
Speaking of gift giving, Susie Lee is here making some edible presents to make the big day even sweeter. Good morning to you, Susie. What have we got?
I am making some edible chocolate bark, some hot chocolate cubes, and then some festive shortbread.
Oh my God, they look delicious. What a good idea with everything that's happening with Holyhead and Dublin Port.
Just make your own.
Just make your own.
Exactly.
You know? Yes. There you go. Well done, you. Saving the day is Susie Lee. There you go.
Susie.
Delicious.
Thank you, Susie. Look forward to that.
It really is. I'm like, how much trouble are you getting into at Christmas time? Deric's having a positively great morning. Where are you, Deric?
Yeah, good morning, team. Edible chocolate fudge. How's that sound, Linda?
That sounds great to me. Don't tell me it's for the dog. I hope not anyway.
It is for the doggies. Anyway, we're at the Dublin Dog Hub here this morning. Linda Mark, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Happy Christmas.
And the very same to you and to everybody watching in.
Yeah, great. You've had a busy couple of months since we last saw you, May.
Oh, absolutely. When we did your programme, the calls we got after that and the homes we found for those dogs, just been incredible.
And I believe you've extended, you've gotten bigger and better.
We've extended, we have a new kennel block, and it's capable of another 18 dogs. So it's in process of being completed.
Yeah. All right. We'll have more here a little bit later on this morning from the Dublin Dog Hub. Who have we got here, by the way?
That's Hugo.
Ah, would you look? Hello, Hugo. He's a gorgeous little fella. All right, guys, back to studio. Hello, Hugo. Good boy.
The hat. Get that hat off me.
I love Hugo. And of course, today you might be able to see a dog that could be your forever dog, hopefully. That
Absolutely,
would be amazing.
great. Do get in touch with.
Time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. The headline there, government persists with Israel case despite loss of embassy. The Israeli government announced yesterday it was closing its embassy in Dublin.
The Examiner also leads with Harris rejects allegation of Irish anti-Israel stance. Ireland will not close its embassy in Tel Aviv, the Taoiseach has said, despite Israel accusing the government of extreme anti-Israel policies.
The Herald's front page, violent thug quizzed over Temple Bar attack on Gardaí. A violent criminal has been arrested on suspicion of attacking 2 off-duty Gardaí in Dublin city centre over the weekend.
The Star and the Mirror both go with the same story. The Mirror saying thug held over attacks on Gardaí.
The top story in the Daily Mail reads, water shortage now stopping us building homes. Uisce Éireann has warned that thousands of new homes pledged by the government over the next 5 years may not be built because there's not enough water in Ireland.
The Sun leads with taxi clue to Kieran Riddle. It states that missing 8-year-old Kieran Dernan was not in a taxi that collected a prime suspect in his murder.
And finally, the Irish Independent leads with Sinn Féin bid to snatch key Dáil job by slashing, quote, obscene pay packet. Sinn Féin TD Angus Osnodig has vowed to give back some of the €255,000 salary if he is elected as Ceann Comhairle later on this week. Now, Tommy is mad to do this. You know, when you get to be a judge on a panel for like for the lovely ladies competition, the Rose of Tralee.
Well, I do love that.
He's going to judge your trees. You're mad for it, aren't you?
Come on, here we go. So we have a lot of texts coming in, but mainly on people wanting to show off their Christmas trees. We did talk about some big UK Christmas tree dealer was telling us what makes
Christmas tree dealer.
Makes a perfect Christmas tree. It's basically fresh and green and symmetrical.
Make sure your tree is green.
We asked what type of trees are the best, and most people are pretty much just saying artificial. Yeah. So, Lorna, come on, let's start with you, Lorna. The best branded tree is artificial. No mess, no fear of it dying. Can pack it up when Christmas is over for next year.
Yeah, but this is Orla sent in a picture of her tree. It's 25 years old, still going strong, if a bit lopsided. The species is plastic, is what Orla has told us today. If you're getting a tree and it lasts 25 years and you're kind of thinking of the environment, that's good, isn't it? That's a good one. Anne says Woody's finest. Fair play to you, Anne. Do we have a picture of Anne's tree as well?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Where's the tree, Anne?
The Snow Queen has taken over that.
Holy moly, Frozen would love that, wouldn't it?
Frozen
a lot
would
of
love
Elsa
that, yeah.
all over that one. So that was Anne, was it? Right. Doreen sent in more trees. Here we go, Doreen. Oh, is that a white tree? Or is it just silver?
It's a silver tree.
Silver. No, I think it's white, but with loads of silver tinsel on it.
Does that look like a cosy
go
corner?
for a
Look at all
close
her
look in.
decorations. Love that. Seamus has a beautiful tree, we're told here, that he bought recently.
That's white as well.
Look at the size of
What's
the
with
kings.
the white trees?
Make it look snowy inside your house. You want snow inside your house? Look at the size of the three wise men.
Yeah.
Bloomin' hell, they're massive.
Fair play to you.
Do we have real trees? I think we've got pictures of real trees. Who sent us in this one? Valda sent us in a picture of her real tree. Beautiful. Love a real tree, lads.
What make a tree was that? That's what I'm trying to Google here.
Literally looking at all of these pictures going.
Like spruces. What was it you said?
Norwegian fir. We've got one here saying a Douglas fir, Mo. Is that what your tree is?
Douglas fir. Yeah, Norwegian fir. You're struggling there, aren't you? Right, there you have it. Thank you for sending in. Now, there must be a tree farmer out there, Christmas tree farmer, who
or a dealer, as you called them a minute ago.
What is the best tree brand to get that has the perfect symmetrical, perfect look? One that's a bit like that. There you have it. 0896 111 111. Get in touch.
We're in the weeds, lads. We're in the weeds with trees. Coming
the
up,
white trees.
We're talking Married at First Sight with Jay Howard. Back to you in a minute.
Now, in 2023, Married at First Sight viewers watched Jay Howard's love story unfold as the first person with a disability to feature on the show.
Jay has continued to be outspoken about inclusion and representation. Before we chat to her, here's a look at Jay in Married at First Sight. It's her wedding day.
Tell me, why do you show up?
Because I don't think I've ever been fully in love. I never feel like I've ever been fully wanted. I'm taking a leap of faith.
Hello. You okay?
Hi,
You alright?
How you
Nice
feeling?
to meet you. What's your name?
Luke. What's your name?
Jay. Nice to meet you,
Jay.
Luke.
Oh, God.
This is weird, isn't it?
We are not.
Oh, you alright?
Oh, God. You're beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. You look nice.
Thanks.
I'm married. Can't get rid of me now.
And Jay joins us now. Good morning to you, Jay. Oh, I think we've got you there, Jay.
Morning.
Oh, good to see
everybody.
you. Jay, tell us, so I'm just chatting to Myrne. So you're not actually married, though. Do you get married?
No. So it's not legal. It's not a legally binding marriage. But the actual full day and everything, it is a wedding. So it's bizarre. But I'm glad that I did it, and I've learnt a lot about myself since then. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that have come away and being able to speak about disability, but in a positive light, and just to give people a little bit of confidence, that might have a limb difference, or, that might not be as confident and as open as what I am. If I can make somebody happy and somebody have that little bit of a boost, then I feel like I've done my job.
The show is incredibly intense because we're following you and all of these other couples. You were incredibly popular. You were, really the funny person of the gang, and people really got behind you. But Paul C. Brunson was talking the whole time about how you had so many walls up. To go onto this show, were you very worried? To go onto it regardless of what's going on must be hard enough. And then because you've got a limb difference, did that add something else to it?
It was, yeah. So it's it's very daunting anyway. It's not a normal situation getting married on TV, but then meeting somebody for the first time at the bottom of the aisle, that's just something else. But in terms of having the limb difference, I just didn't want to be in a situation where I'm walking down the aisle and my partner turned around and was disappointed and had the look of shock, which, again, it is very understandable because it is something that you don't see every day. However, that would have knocked my confidence majorly, and I don't think that it wouldn't have gone the same way as what it did if his reaction was different to what it was.
It's amazing. You're the first person on the show with a disability, and for so many people out there who would have been watching it in a similar situation would have been inspired by you and by your story. What was it like for you growing up, though, not having role models on our television screens and on the media?
To be honest, I just thought at the time, when I was a young child, I used to just think that I was the same as everybody else. I was just I was just a little bit different because the way that I've been brought up, my mum's been absolutely amazing with me. She's always pushed me to keep, say, for instance, if I wanted to go swimming or any sports, rather than saying, "Oh, you can't do it," kind of thing. You should get up and you will try and you will go again. And just keep trying. And obviously, if you can't do it, then at least you can say that you've tried. So I've always had that mentality, and I've always been very outspoken. And I'll go and speak to anybody in terms of children. She took me to all the play groups, so she has brought me up to be very, not confident, but very outspoken and very open-minded. But I do think that TV is going in the right direction now. I'd say within this past 10 years, maybe, it's getting a lot better with inclusivity and diversity, and it's making more people aware of people that might have a disability, not just limb differences, but any kind of difference. So I do think it's heading in the right direction.
That's so wonderful to hear that, you're noticing that. And I suppose Chris McCausland winning Strictly this weekend, he was absolutely unbelievable. But you, yourself and Luke from the show, you didn't stay together. We saw that in the reunion. But you have gone on. You've got a new show called Unfiltered Women, where you talk about dating with a disability in this new series. So can you tell us about this show? How did it come about?
So the show itself is more of it's a little bit like Loose Women, but it's more of an informal conversation. So we're all very different in our own little ways, but we all relate to dating with disabilities and, different topics. There's different topics that we do speak about. Don't get me wrong, it's more of a light-hearted manner, rather it being all doom and gloom, but there is a fair share of the light conversations as well as the dark, because we just didn't want it to be a situation of, because sometimes with it being on, sometimes in terms of on the screen, disability is kind of put in a box and made out to be a negative thing, which is something that we didn't want to do. We wanted to make it look to people you can have a laugh, and there is funny sides to being disabled, and we are just exactly the same as everybody else. It's just that we do things differently. But it is a good watch in terms of we've got very different opinions, and we do speak about the hard times, but also it's not all doom and gloom. It is good as well.
So tell us, how's the dating life going? Are you on social media? Is that the only, or dating apps? Is that the only way to do it? And what's your experience of dating apps? Going okay?
Yeah, the dating apps is it's different. It's difficult, isn't it, to say, because at the minute it's very app like. The majority of how you would meet somebody nowadays is through social media or an app. It's not the same as what it used to be. Like, what happened to walking down the supermarket and, meeting somebody randomly and asking to go for a coffee? It just doesn't work like that anymore. So it is a bit difficult, but I am on the dating apps and I am wanting to date again, which is a good thing. I'm stepping forward. But I think I'm ready now to settle down, so we'll just see how it goes.
And for anyone that's sort of watching, I suppose, that for any reason, whether it be a disability or not, but just doesn't feel that sort of confident in going out there, like, would you have any advice for them?
I would just say don't get wrapped up in your own thoughts. Because I used to do that a lot when I was younger. I used to think that people perceived me in a certain light when it's not true and it's not a fact. So it's very easy to run away with your own thoughts and think negatively about a situation. But it's not like that at all. Like, just be happy and accept who you are. And once you've got the acceptance and you learn to love yourself, things automatically come naturally to you, and you tend to be more open and more susceptible in speaking to a lot more people rather than being closed off.
That's so lovely. Kind of what Paul C. Brunson actually said to you once on the dating show. You're also an ambassador for the charity Reach, which provides support for children with upper limb differences and their families as well. And your show, Unfiltered Women, it's available on ITV's YouTube channel. Jay Howard, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks,
have a good day, guys.
Thank you so much. We had some technical issues going on there, some delays.
All good.
Yep.
No, it's very interesting. Thank you for that, Jay. Now, coming up next, we're going to be heading for some festive treats in the kitchen.
And Deric's meeting Dublin's cutest dogs. Got little Santa hats on. We'll see you very shortly on Ireland AM. Now, if you're looking for some tasty treats to make with your little ones this Christmas, you can look no further.
Susie Lee, yes, she has all the answers. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Three treats.
Three treats, not just one.
Well done, very good.
Okay, so this is all about not making that much mess in the kitchen with the kids. So I am breaking off chocolate and literally throwing it into a tray. Preheated the oven at 180.
And this is normal chocolate, not cooking chocolate?
No, not cooking chocolate.
Yeah.
No. So I'm going to literally place this in the oven for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Job done. Great.
Well done. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I reckon I could do that one.
Yeah. So we're just going to put that in there. And
that goes in for 5 minutes?
Yeah, for 5 minutes. And then what we're going to do is, this is another trick. So we are going to make these hot chocolate cubes. So you've seen hot chocolate stirrers, with the wee wooden stick.
Yeah.
And then whatever. Sometimes you just don't have lollipop sticks or the wooden thing. So literally, I've greased those, and then you put the melted chocolate and pop them out like that. So what we're doing is boiling water with a block of chocolate inside. It has to be obviously in a plastic wrapper, unfortunately. But this is
What do you mean? Sorry, what?
So literally,
chocolate is in there.
So literally, it's a bar of chocolate.
Oh.
So literally another 5 minutes in there.
So you let that, you're melting that?
Melting that.
Okay, so you're cooking that.
Yeah, melting that.
Melting this.
Yeah.
But you can do it the bain marie or whatever you call it as well.
So you can do the bain marie, right? So then you've got the shortbread. So I'm doing 3 things all at once, so it's a wee bit frantic today.
Okay, gotcha.
We have
loads of time. We're all right. Loads of time.
Shortbread. So butter, flour. So this is 150 grams of plain flour, 100 grams of butter.
Yeah.
And then you just work that in. And then once you've worked that in, and you can dig in. So if you have your butter at room temperature, it will be a lot softer.
Yeah.
With travelling and all of that, it's a wee bit harder. So if you want to ding it in the microwave for like 20 seconds, that will all melt. So combine it all together, then add your sugar.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it forms a dough. So then you can put your dough into, so this is what I'm trying to show you. So if you have a longer piece of parchment paper, but throw the dough in, then you can just squash this in. There's no dirty hands in this then.
Oh.
So literally you're just pressing the dough all the way down and right to the edges, right? So you can make it nice and smooth. Use a glass to flatten it out.
So your shortcut pastry is under the parchment paper?
Parchment paper, yeah. So literally all you're doing is just you're making sure that it's nice and smooth, because what they're going to turn into are your Christmas trees.
Lovely.
Okay.
Christmas trees, okay.
So then I'm going to pop this back in the oven. That was actually the butter warming up, you see, in the dough, because otherwise...
Lovely.
So I'm just popping that back in.
And how long is that in for?
About 12 minutes. 12 to 15 minutes. You just want it just golden.
And you end up with this?
You end up with this.
Lovely.
So say that was exactly the same size, and all I did was, with the knife, I scored it. So this was now really cold, okay? So then I'd scored these triangles in, and then once it's fully cold, then it makes life really easy, because then I can just snap off lovely trees.
Beautiful.
Lovely little Christmas trees.
Yeah. So then...
So score it when it's warm and then let it cool.
And then it makes it easy, because otherwise if you cut right through, it crumbles all the edges and then you get a really rough edge. So once you've done that, literally icing sugar and a drop of water, because you want it really thick for your decoration.
Okay.
So what we're doing here is we are going to make zigzag design. And then go mad with the sprinkles. So
can I have a go at this?
Of course you can.
Come on, bring them over here. Let's have a rattle at
I'll
that.
get them.
You can do
You keep
your
doing your
chocolates
things.
and I'll do these.
And he can go crazy with this.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
So you
Keep
can
me
decorate
entertained.
that. And there's more sprinkles
Don't have a
here.
go, Mern.
No pressure.
Okay, so then with the hot chocolate.
Okay, so this has been, oh God, it is melted.
So fully melted. And then what we're going to do is just make sure it's not sopping wet.
Yeah.
And then we just snip the edge.
Put it open like a pack, gotcha.
Yep. So these have been greased. And then all we're going to do is we're going to pipe it in. So nothing too crazy, just pipe them in. And you're just winging them in. So they can be decorated with sprinkles, some marshmallows, whatever you have, but literally when you melt that in boiling milk, it's delicious, because it's literally real hot chocolate.
Okay, so that's real hot chocolate.
Yeah, so you can use dark chocolate, you can use white chocolate, you can use a combination, but this, I just sort of think it's quite cute, but you're not actually needing to hunt for lollipop sticks, because that's you'll find everybody's like lollipop sticks or wooden spoons. Not everybody has those at home.
Okay, so you're not just popping those out and you're using them as hot chocolate.
Yeah,
you put them in boiling milk.
Yeah, boiling milk, 2 of those, and you have a perfect cup of hot chocolate.
So could you kind of steal the kids' selection box and just stick them all in the kettle and then
boom.
There you go.
So just because it's not too, a crunchy won't really work, because they'll get really sticky, the middle honeycomb bit.
Yeah, oh no.
So then literally you have the melted chocolate, and then I just realised, sorry about this, and marshmallows. So, as easy as this, and the kids can have a lot of fun.
This is very sweet.
So you're literally just winging in the marshmallows and then allowing that to set. And once it's set, this been overnight, then you just pop them out.
You just pop them out because you've had the grease.
Yeah.
They've been greased.
Yeah. And if it's a silicone mould, you don't even need that.
Oh, lovely.
So you don't even need that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It just pops out
Just
anyway.
pops out. Okay.
And then you have all of those, and then you do, if you have time.
Okay.
You can get lots of these for literally, I got 50 for £1 in a shop. So literally just pop them in like this.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. It's all little treats for the teacher.
And then make
whatever.
I hand wrote those last night.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
and
great.
then literally you tie it around.
That's very sweet, actually, for
And then
teachers
like
and
that.
stuff like that.
Yeah, you're always looking for something for the teacher.
So
Teachers, what do you think? This, or do you want the bottle of wine? Do you want the black tower that I used to bring in every year? 0896
Right.
111 111.
The final thing is the chocolate is melted now.
Okay, so that was in the oven.
Yep. So literally you're just wanting to smooth that. So if we had 2 more minutes, then you would just allow that to spread further. So
And what's this going to make?
So this is going to be the chocolate bark.
The chocolate bark.
Right. So yet again, we had 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
And these were completely soft. Then you would have been able to spread it further.
It will be completely and utterly spreadable.
Yep. Okay. Or you could do the trick with that, and then you just decorate. So we've got some nuts.
There's
We've
a
got.
Christmas tree for you, Maren.
Oh, that's a
We've got
beautiful
our
Christmas
little
tree,
reindeer.
Tivo.
So we've got some reindeer, some pretzels.
Do you want to judge it like the
just do
Christmas
that?
trees we were judging
Some
earlier on? Is that your
eyeballs.
favourite one, is it?
There we go. Look at that. Lovely. Oh, they fell off. The baubles are gone.
But yeah, so there you go, some reindeer. And that's, yet again, whatever you want. So you can have mallows, you can have
It's a bit of fun.
The little reindeer is cute,
Yeah,
isn't
the
it?
reindeer with the antlers is a cool idea.
Yeah.
That's really... Sorry, Peter's now trying to play football with the things that are falling off your little bubbles.
Can you eat these metallic bubbles?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Are they good?
Lovely, yeah.
They nice?
The shortbread is lovely.
Thank you. So literally baked for the 12 to 15 minutes, really soft and crumbly. You could add different flavours like, orange zest, lemon zest, anything like that, bit of vanilla. But yes, so packaged
And you've
up.
made little packages for everything.
Yeah, so then you can just gift those away to people.
That is so nice, the little
So
reindeer.
it's a really good, obviously, gift idea, but kids, if you're bored around Christmas, these are all things that you have in the house.
Susie,
The
3
shortbread is
lovely,
delicious.
lovely presents.
It is so good.
Thank you so much for that. Fair play to you.
Did you do that with the kids?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
to
it's
do that,
actually a really good
definitely.
idea to do with the kids. Lovely. Now coming up next, Deric is meeting a Eurovision legend. Why
That's
not
right.
me?
He's going to meet up with Linda Martin after the break. You're very welcome back. Now, Deric has been meeting some furry friends at Dublin Dog Hub all morning.
And he seems to have bumped into a familiar face. We saw her earlier on. Deric, how are you getting on?
Yes, good morning, team. Linda, what's your favourite song?
Who let the dogs out?
Woof, 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 woof. Anyway, welcome down here to the Dublin Dog Hub. The one and only Linda Martin is with us. Happy Christmas,
And
Linda.
the very same to you and to all the viewers.
Yeah, now the last time we were with you was back in May and you were just up and running here.
right.
How have you been since we last saw you?
Well, we progressed. We have another building, as I showed you that earlier on today. We've got a few more staff in with wonderful volunteers, and we're slowly but surely moving on.
In terms of the dogs then, what have you got at the moment?
Oh, well, we're pretty full at the moment. Some rather large dogs that are not exactly don't exactly want to come out and be friends with you, but we have some lovely ones behind you there, and we'll be able to see them now in a few minutes.
I mean, in terms of what you're doing down here, you have space for how many dogs at the moment?
At the moment, 38.
38 dogs. And the new premises is nearly up and running, which is fantastic to see, Linda.
Really, and it was in the plans, you see, from the very beginning. So it was a matter of getting the first unit up and running and then getting the builder to come back and put this one up, or Faulkner's shed, should I say, not the builder, and then equipping it. So that they all cost a fortune. Those kennels that we use are steel, they're heavy, they cost a lot of money. And then we got ourselves an industrial washing machine, an industrial dryer. We don't know ourselves really because it's constant with dirty beds.
Yeah,
constant.
and you're working very closely with Dublin City Council as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We've a great relationship with them since we started, and hopefully that'll continue.
It wouldn't happen without the volunteers. You've a great, bunch of people here, don't you?
We really do, from all walks of life. That's a strange thing.
We have GPs.
We have our GP. We have a psychiatric nurse. We have one of the girls works with refugees. They come from all walks of life, but they come to us on their days off, and it's brilliant.
In terms of the dogs, then, I mean, it is a difficult time because a lot of people potentially want to get dogs for Christmas.
Correct. Please don't. I'm serious now. Don't. Wait until after Christmas if you're serious, and please don't buy. Don't put money into the puppy farmers' pockets. Really come up to a refuge of some sort, because they're all over the country. There's wonderful sanctuaries all over, and choose a dog, but not at Christmas.
Yeah. A lot of work goes in here because you kick off at dawn right through to the sunset.
To dusk.
Right?
I know. And it's a passion, because I work in show business. That's my business, but this is my passion. And you gotta like picking up poop and mopping up wee and things like that. It's not for the squeamish. And when we first opened, we were crying when dogs were going and things like that. But you slowly adjust yourself, so they're going somewhere nice. and we get photographs. You saw the notice board inside with all the photographs of the dogs we've rehomed so far, so we keep in contact with owners as well.
How many have you rehomed so far this year then?
We're approximately 60.
60. Isn't that fantastic?
I think it's incredible. I'm just so proud of everybody and that rehoming process, which is done. All our media stuff is done by Vari, and she's our GP in Portmarnock, you see. But she's a bit of a genius on the computer.
And you need them.
We do need them because, listen, I can barely send an email, so it's certainly not going to be up to me.
All right, we'll come back to you in a moment's time because we have got Ora here. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Deric.
Yeah, great. You started off this place, in fact, with Linda when they were putting the foundation stones in.
Absolutely. So Linda came to me about 4 years ago and said, I have a plan. We need to do something. Will you help me? So we got ourselves together. We started putting plans together, and we worked magic by getting everybody involved. We knocked on people's doors. Will you help us? And here we are. So happy days.
And it's growing all the time. I mean, Kate, we were just saying to Linda, a dog is not just for Christmas, they are for life, right?
They sure are, yeah. And like, if you are in doubt about getting a dog, highly recommend wait until after Christmas, I know people are at home and things over Christmas and think, oh, this is the best time to get a dog, we're here. But when you go back to work after Christmas, the dog is left then, it's used to having people around and everything like that. It's just this is where issues will arise, and then we see so many dogs coming back. You really need to be commit to having the dog.
Think twice, really, is what you're saying.
Absolutely, yeah. Because it's not fair on them. They're used to a home environment, and they're being surrendered, or being just let out on the streets.
Yeah.
The amount of strays that we're getting in here is just. It's sad to see.
But I have to say, they're so well looked after. Yeah. And actually, speaking of the dogs, Linda, we're going to have a little doggy show before we go. So who have we got here? And the volunteer as well.
No, this is Lisa.
Okay, and who have we got?
And Lisa's carrying Phoenix. And Phoenix is in heaven by the look of it.
Happy out here this morning.
Absolutely.
What age is he?
I think he's around about 2.
2, is he, Lisa? Yeah.
Yeah, he's about 2.
Yeah, he's a gorgeous little fella. He's looking for a home, forever home.
Absolutely, he is.
Yeah, he's lovely. He's a quiet little fella. So anyone with a small garden or anything like that?
Correct, he'd be perfect, yeah.
He'd be perfect,
And those little dogs, I mean, I was talking to Niall, your cameraman, and he's a little Jack Russell-y type as well. Yeah. And they're so smart.
He'd make a lovely little companion, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would, because he likes his
he's
comfort,
gorgeous.
for
All right,
sure.
who'll be next?
Now, here's Barry, our GP from Portmarnock. And that's Barry has horses. She does her GP work and then she comes to us on her days off.
And who's the dog?
Now that's Faith.
Yeah, beautiful colour on the coat here.
Isn't the coat gorgeous?
Yeah, gorgeous, yeah.
Barry, you like him, don't you?
I mean, you need a little bit of space for this dog now, right?
Absolutely, and a bit of strength as well.
A bit of strength as well, because he likes to walk and he pulls you around,
I know,
right?
I'm getting pulled around the face.
Which is great, all right, thank you so much. All right, next up, who have we got?
This is our Suzanne.
Oh,
and
look.
Suzanne works with psychiatric patients.
Okay, great. What's this fella's name?
Charmer.
Charmer. And this fella sounds like a cat when he barks.
He does.
He does.
He's ferocious.
And he's a lovely little fella,
He
isn't
really
he? So
is.
quiet.
He really is.
What age is he?
He's around about 2 or 3 as well, yeah.
Okay. He's great, isn't he? And again, he's a quiet little dog. He make a great companion for someone who's older, perhaps.
Absolutely, and he doesn't need that much exercise either, which is magic.
Okay,
you're not talking about miles and miles.
And he's so quiet, isn't he?
He's a lovely
He's
boy.
a little fella. Okay, thank you so much. Who have we got here
And
next?
then here we are. We've got
Cassie. Beth and Cassie. All right.
Beth has Cassie. Now, Beth has horses as well.
Yes.
We get her on her days off or after she's groomed the horses, and she's in love with Cassie. She loves her.
The coat on this little fella, gorgeous, right?
Really is a beautiful colour. Now, Cassie's lively.
Yeah.
There's no point in me saying she's going to sit beside the fireplace.
No.
Cassie is going to need exercise.
Okay, she's going to need exercise.
Yeah.
So perfect after Christmas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Get rid of all the extras.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
finally, we have come over here.
Now
to
we
us.
have Kim.
Yes, Kim.
Here's our Kim. Now Kim actually works for us here, and she's got Dove.
And she got Dove, beautiful dog as well. And the coat here is, Linda, gorgeous coat.
You like Dove, don't you? Kim?
I love Dove.
Yeah. Beautiful doggy. What age is Dove?
I would say same about 2 or 3.
About 2 or
maybe
3.
even a little bit younger. But again, you're going to need somebody energetic. You see somebody who's hiking all the time or running around.
Yeah.
Be absolutely
Love to be
perfect.
out and about in the great outdoors.
Absolutely.
All right, where can we find out more online?
Well, if you look on Instagram or
Yeah, you're there.
Facebook,
Okay.
our website's almost done.
Nearly done.
Almost done.
Great.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we appreciate all the hard work that you're doing here with all the dogs and all the volunteers. For me and all the gang. What's your favourite song again?
Who let the dogs out? Woof,
woof, woof, woof. Back to studio. I love that. High
The
five.
dogs were going mad there, all right. Fair play to
So
Deric.
next Eurovision entry, you know that's it. Just send them off. Let
Absolute
them go.
class.
Douze
Well
points across the board. I think we'll have there.
Well
Fair
done,
play to
well
them.
done.
And if you're thinking of adopting a dog,
Oh,
wouldn't that just be
gorgeous, yeah,
lovely?
absolutely.
Gorgeous. Now, coming up in the final hour, former Housing Minister Eoghan Murphy sheds light on the realities of political life. We're going to be talking to him about his memoir.
Looking forward to chatting to him. We're also going to meet the 3 family-run businesses here to help with those last-minute Christmas gifts, and we all need them. We'll see you after this short break. Good morning. You are very welcome back. Here's what we've got coming up in the final hour.
We're going to be sitting down with former Housing Minister and Fine Gael TD, former Fine Gael TD Eoghan Murphy, as he reflects on his time in government. That's coming up at 9:20 this morning.
And from farming to flora, we are going to be talking to some family-run businesses who are gearing up for the festive season.
There's some lovely
It's
tulips as
amazing,
well. Isn't
beautiful
there?
in here.
Oh, Lucy,
there's gonna be a lot
you're
of
sorted.
presents.
Lucy's going to be sorted.
Forget
isn't she?
about Hollyhead on the backlog of containers. I'm sorted right
Tommy
there.
is shopping here today.
The wife's going to be delighted.
Lorna Waitman is on the catwalk this morning, and it's all about the shirt today, Lorna, is it?
Yeah, we're talking shirts, not just for school uniforms and the office. I've got some tips and tricks on how to style your shirt. So we're doing a different take on the French tuck. So this is the half tuck. I've got some collar layering so that you don't feel like you're layering too much on top of your outfit. So I'm going to share all of that later on this morning.
Lovely.
Very good. Looking forward to that. Derek's gone to the dogs this morning, Deric, with some puppy pals.
Yes. Tommy, we were so busy talking about the dogs. Linda, we didn't get to chat about your personal life. You're just back from Australia.
I'm just back, yes. I was on the Eurovision tour, which took in the UK, Europe. Unfortunately, not Dublin, but maybe next year. And then we ended up in Australia.
And Australia, you toured all around, and of course you're kicking off the European tour again next year.
Yeah, absolutely. In January, first date is in Amsterdam. And I
Amsterdam.
will be in the wide streets.
You will be in the West. What are you doing for Christmas, by the way?
Well, I'll be here for a certain length of time on Christmas Day, because the dogs don't know it's Christmas.
No, they don't.
still have to be fed.
So a little bit of turkey and ham down here as well.
Yeah. I can't cook anyway, you know, so it's no big deal.
All right, we'll have more here from the Dublin Dog Hub. But for now, back to you guys in studio.
Fair play to her
turkey and
for
ham
all
sounds
the work
good,
that she does and all the volunteers there as well. It is absolutely fantastic.
You're very welcome back. Now, while Murren's been swatting up on our next conversation with Eoghan, Eoghan Murphy, who's coming up after this break, I've been swatting up on Christmas trees.
He has gotten into the weeds on this one. He's like, no, I like this. He has been taking out pictures of Christmas tree going, do we like this one? Do we
Well,
hate
I'm
this
trying
one?
to
What's
find
going
out
on?
what brand, what make.
Did you
I don't
not
know what it
just
is.
Google what's the best Christmas tree?
Yes, I did. And I've come to a conclusion. The Norway spruce.
Well-
the Norwegian spruce is the best.
Lads, he has done 40 seconds of research, so
No,
you better
no.
know he knows what he's
No,
talking about.
The most popular one is the Nordman fir, and it's the one that's too sparse at the top and real bushy on the outside. In-depth
the one
stuff.
with the big... It's
So, Deirdre,
been a busy morning, guys.
don't let me down, Deirdre. What does a Norwegian spruce look like? Let's have a look at... look! Isn't that gorgeous? That's exactly the tree you want. Well done. I got
said
a
it
lovely
smells lovely.
Lovely smell, but it's a bit spiky, so you need the gloves for that one.
Adrian, I've had my tree 30 years. Oh, that's a nice one. That would have
I
cost a
know.
lot 30 years ago
30
now. My God.
There's a lot of lights to cover up the bits broken on that one. This is my candy cane tree.
Says Michelle.
Oh,
my
jeepers.
goodness.
Wow.
How have the kids not
Make it
gotten at
dizzy
that?
looking at that one.
Orla, Tommy, do you like my small artificial tree? Orla's asking you questions now. Goes up to about a knee. What do you think?
Thank you, Orla. That's a beautiful tree. Yeah, look at that. Symmetrical. We get a real tree from my dad's house and our own house every year. You just can't beat the trip out to look at the trees. I'm with you. I know the artificial ones probably look more perfect, but the smell of the real tree is just the best.
Sorry.
And there you have it.
Look at that bay window.
Now, that's definitely a Nordman fir. But I'm more about the Norway spruce.
What has happened? Am I living in a fever dream? I don't know what's going
But
on.
I do. I love doing that. And the Fraser fir is another good one. So,
Okay. Thank you. Again, Tommy Bow branded Christmas trees coming your way next year, guys. Coming your way next year.
I'm going to look into this
Up next
year.
we'll be
definitely.
speaking to former Housing Minister Eoghan Murphy.
Yes, we're going to be hearing about his political ambitions, failures, and life after office in just a few moments.
You might have an opinion on a tree. Who knows? Welcome back to Ireland AM. Our next guest is a former TD who acted as Housing Minister from 2017 to 2020.
His new memoir details the ups and downs in office. And here to lift the lid on political life, it's Eoghan Murphy. Good morning, to you, Eoghan. Great to have you with us. I love the title of it, instead of running from office.
Yeah.
Why did you write the book?
Well, thanks, and thanks for having me on. Well, I mean, running from office, I ran away from politics. And when I'd left politics, after being in the Dáil for about 10 years, I started to reflect on what had happened, how I had gone from being young and idealistic and hoping to kind of make big changes to finding myself quite desperately wanting to get out of the job. And as I thought through it and what went wrong, I thought there might be some help or use in writing about it, maybe an insight into politics or an insight even into our politicians and who they are.
And it's very interesting. Someone who would have shadowed you as a housing minister was Eoin O'Brien, and he has lauded this book, going, it's so honest, and you have been incredibly honest in this, acknowledging failures and everything that went on. But getting into politics, it wasn't the family business. You decided to, why did you decide to get into politics? You weren't living in Ireland, and you kind of came back with very lofty ambitions.
Yeah, and I suppose, am I to comment on that? I don't know.
No.
I'm not going to put my foot into something, but no, the reason I'm honest is because one of the things I didn't like about myself as a politician is that you can't be very honest. You've got to present a certain face to the public all the time. You know, you might have disagreements internally, but you've got to go out and pretend like everything is smooth on the surface and everything else. And so I enjoyed the chance to kind of take the mask off and kind of say, well, look, this is really what it's like and what it's about. And when I talk about why I got involved, part of it was because I was disappointed in how the country was going. I was living abroad and the financial crash had happened.
Yeah.
But part of it was also ambition for myself. You know, it was about, I think I can go back and make a difference, and I think that can do good for the people I'll be representing, but also do good for me as well in terms of career and that kind of stuff.
But it was very interesting because when you became a councillor, like in 2000, when you became a councillor, you're again the memoir jumps all over the place. You know, it's not a chronological order. But you talk about, you know, I hate people. Why am I dealing with your dog poo issues? Like, what's going on? Like, you were in the book going, I hate this.
Well, I knew nothing about it. And so the very basic act in politics is to go and knock on doors and ask people for a vote. I'd never done it before until I was doing it for myself. And you go canvassing, you knock on a door, someone answers it, and they go, yes, hello. And immediately you're in it, and you're not quite sure what to say. You're not quite sure what they might want from you. And it's a very steep learning curve. And it's a constant interaction with people. And certainly in the early days, I was kind of concerned about, well, what am I getting into here? Because I was thinking about pushing policy ideas and making big changes. But here I am, yes, people going, listen, you got to get rid of the dog poo or I'm not going to vote for you. So you're like, well, how does that exactly work? Am I meant to be going around myself, or should I be running a campaign about this? Or, you know, and so you have moments and evenings where you get home a little bit exhausted, a little bit disillusioned, you know.
Because you go in with the right intentions, which we believe everybody goes into politics. Is there a learning? Is there anyone pulls you aside and tells you this is how we do things? Like your first day going into the Dáil, what's it like?
No, yeah, and I compare it to being like school. When you go in with your class, you know, your kind of year, and you know, no one really tells you what to do, and you're not really meant to ask any of the older people. Right. The Dáil and the council has its own kind of norms and its own culture. And it takes a lot of time just to figure that out. And you make mistakes along the way. You make lots of mistakes trying to understand, well, what does it mean to be a TD? Like, I was very lucky, though, because I was in a party. I was in Fine Gael. So I had colleagues who could give me advice, and I could trust that advice to a degree. But I think if you're an independent or someone in a new party going in, where your colleagues don't even really know what's going on, I think it'd be much more difficult. You know.
Your ascent was rapid, because when you're talking about, you know, being a councillor 2009, next thing you're a TD by 2011, and you became called the Five-A-Side Club. There was a group of you backbenchers who were seen as being very influential in doing what you wanted within Fine Gael, because it was a random, you met Enda Kenny in a pub, and he
Yeah.
gave you his number. He said, "We'll talk about politics." This is before you
Yeah,
went into it.
yeah.
And next thing, you were seen as kind of the architect of his downfall because you were behind. It was how it was viewed.
Yeah, no. I mean,
You did that.
I think we thought we were more influential than we actually were. But yeah, we were a bunch of first-time TDs who, after about a year of being in there and realising how it did work, thought it wasn't working very well, and we were very frustrated. So we started pushing for reform of the Dáil, reform of politics, changes to what our government was doing. And through all of that, it made us kind of outsiders within the system and made us kind of rebels. And it put me on a path. I didn't necessarily want to be against Enda Kenny. I thought he was a very good Taoiseach, but we were very impatient and we wanted more, so we were kind of pushing for that a lot.
So you sidled up beside Leo Varadkar, the pair of you pushed to push Enda out, and Leo obviously went in. It's quite interesting, though, that when Leo did get into office, it looked like he wasn't going to take you with him.
Yeah.
That must have been a bit of a kick in the teeth for you. How did you get yourself back into his good books and become the Minister for Housing?
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate. Enda Kenny promoted me to a junior minister after the 2016 election, and so now I was in government as a junior minister, but in government, and I loved that role and what I could do with it. And as Leo was looking to then replace Enda and become the Taoiseach, I helped him with that, and I thought then that would mean I would go with him into cabinet. And for a moment there, it looked like I wasn't, and I found that very difficult because I felt that I'd earned it. You know? And maybe I had, maybe I hadn't. And maybe he was right not to consider me, but he definitely wasn't considering me for a full cabinet portfolio.
So what did you do?
Well, I went to speak to him about it. I eventually kind of plucked up the courage to go and talk to your boss, essentially, you know, but also the most powerful person in the country. So there's only so much you can say, you know, because if you find yourself...
a big part in getting him there as well.
Yeah, but I mean, he had lots of considerations. You know, when you're making those decisions, you want the best people at the table. And so he had to weigh up, you know, people who had experience. He had to weigh up things like geography, different things, talent. And I was making the push, you know, from a point of loyalty, I suppose.
Yeah.
Listen, we've been in this together this far. I should come with you.
You note how much you changed in a very short period of time. That you were previous, it was like, oh, this is great. You know, I'm chatting to people, I'm involved. But when you didn't get that, you were like, I was destined for more. How could he be ignoring me like this? You say that. I had convinced myself, and others told me. I'd read it in the newspapers. So what happens to you when you get that? We all know that power corrupts, whether it corrupts absolutely or not. What does it, that closeness to power, what did it do to your brain?
Well, it changed my ambition.
Okay.
So my ambition in my first term was, you know, very idealistic, speak truth to power. I don't mind being offside here. I don't mind if it doesn't mean I'll never be promoted, because I believe what I'm saying is right and I believe these are important things. But once I got into government as a junior minister and I saw how much you can do, actually, you know, the levers you can pull, the things you can get done, you're involved in very important discussions every day of the week. I wanted more of that. And so my ambition kind of changed from, you know, maybe speaking truth to power to being, let's stay in the inner circle. You've gotten into the inner circle. You're sitting in a room with 3 or 4 people as Leo Varadkar's talking to Theresa May, the British Prime Minister. This is the very centre of power in the country. Don't leave this room. So do what you have to do to stay there.
But then you get the portfolio of housing.
Yeah.
And under your stewardship, we saw ever increasing, and unfortunately since then the numbers go up every single month. It hit 10,000 people under your stewardship. Of course, we all know what's happened. There's not enough houses in the country. It was an emergency. Mm-hmm. What was it like there? Because you were public enemy number 1 for an awful lot of time.
Yeah, like it's obviously housing, and it's still an issue, but it was a constant daily issue. A lot of it bad news, a lot of the time. And we were working very hard, a team of people who were very dedicated civil servants in the Custom House with me, trying to fix things, trying to implement solutions, but none of it was happening quickly enough. I mean, I was also involved in dealing with our storm preparation and responses. And that was, when you did that stuff, it happened very quickly. Yeah. You said, look, we're going to do this, it was done. And I would get frustrated because with housing, I'd say, let's do this. And then 12 months later, it still hadn't happened. So I find that very frustrating, but also, and I kind of had a sense of it at the time, but it was only until I went to properly examine what had gone wrong, I saw the mistakes that I had made in not making the issue more of a priority for the government. The government said it was a priority, it was, but we didn't really, and that was my fault, elevate it up to being as important as something like Brexit.
You talk about it here as well, that the whole generation of people who know me as the Minister for No Housing. Yeah. Then you talk about when you step away, you gave a final bit of spin, deflected from the darker moments and tried to give a parting message. This is the good thing about this book, though. You're not parting for the darker moments. You've opened up about the mental health and actually the pressure on politics and how difficult. Like, whenever you're seeing as this is the Minister for Housing, there's 10,000 people homeless. Like, can you sleep at night? How difficult is it?
Yeah, well, and I was upset with myself for not being honest when I was leaving politics as to why I was. So I was glad the book gave me an opportunity to kind of talk about that stuff, because I didn't handle the public pressure or the public criticism well. I let it bite too hard and I let it build up on top of me. So no, I didn't sleep at night often. I tried things like sleeping pills and a whole load of other things, and they just didn't work for me. So it all kind of built up, and you start to feel very embarrassed about that as well, and a little bit ashamed, because people are going through real problems. I'm not dismissing the importance of mental health at all, but the people that your policies are impacting are having real struggles, and then you're sitting in your office maybe feeling sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
And then you start to kind of have a bit of self-loathing, and then it just builds up on top, and you end up in a negative kind of downward spiral. And then it kind of just, it broke me a bit, you know. And so I came to a point, and running from office is kind of a nod to this as well, where I physically had a crisis of confidence, a panic attack, a breakdown, and I physically tried to run away from the job while I was in London one night. And then once I recovered from that the next day, I was like, oh, Jesus, I need to get out of this job, because, you know, whatever about whether I'm doing well in it or not, and most people didn't think I wasn't managing it well. And so from that point then, I was in this kind of constant battle, and it was daily about trying to keep a face to the public, trying to get the work done, but not have myself kind of breaking underneath the weight of it, or the weight I felt I was carrying from it.
I think it's searingly honest. Like, when you go into 2018, a breakdown, you're going to a counsellor, you talk about, you know, trying to use alcohol to dull the pain. You went through a real traumatic personal experience with an ex-partner as well. All of this is going on. What is your advice to anyone? Advice to anyone who's considering going into politics? Because you talk about that a lot. If not me, then who? Like that. If there's a sense of civic duty. What do you think of it, and what do you make of the public discourse nowadays when it comes to politicians?
Yeah, I'm not sure if, you know, the public discourse in terms of, you know, who our politicians are has changed much over the last number of years, or since I got involved. Like, from the moment I was involved, we were feeling pressure, particularly around things like social media, which was new to politics, and how to handle that pressure. But we never discussed it amongst ourselves as politicians, or even that openly, because as a politician, you can't show weakness. You're meant to show confidence all the time. I know what I'm doing the right thing. Because if the public lose faith in you in that regard, then you're useless, and you should be gone. But for people who want to go in, I mean, I read a book when I was younger, because I wanted to be a diplomat. Eamon Delaney wrote a book called An Accidental Diplomat, and it was all about the life of a diplomat. Now, 80% of the book is really boring stuff that he had to do, but 20% was very exciting. And the 80% didn't put me off at all. So what I say to people is, listen, you know, understand what this job involves and what it's like. And if the negative stuff doesn't put you off, then great, go for it. Because the stuff you can do is fantastic. I mean, the opportunities are brilliant. The privilege of being able to stand up in your national parliament and speak is fantastic. And all those new people who've been elected in this recent election, you know, they'll never forget that. I mean, I think you'll never forget campaigning, because even though I talk about the ups and downs of a campaign, actually putting yourself forward and putting yourself in the mix, you'll never regret that, because you'll always say, well, look, you know what, I tried. And if you are successful and you get in there, it's amazing what you can get done and how important you can be. But you need to also understand that you're public property. And you live in the public eye every day, and it doesn't just stop when you leave the office.
Yeah, and Owen will pick up your dog poo. That's what how is life now?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, good. I live over in London.
You had to get out, did you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was, you know, very well known when I was in politics, and Ireland, Dublin's a small place, and I wanted to try and get some privacy back and a bit of anonymity. Yeah. So I went to London, and you know, I've been there for 3 years. Yeah.
Very good. Good on you. Listen, it's a really fascinating book. It's great to actually just lift the lid and look behind the scenes. Running from office, confessions of ambition and failure in politics. Eoghan Murphy, great to have you with us. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us, Owen. Cheers. Coming up, some sleek and chic shirts on the catwalk.
And we're going to meet some family-run businesses. We'll see you back here shortly.
One day he's not wearing a shirt and we're talking about shirts. What are you like?
Yeah.
Shirts are one of the most versatile items in any wardrobe. They can dress up an outfit And even add a bit of texture, Tommy.
Here to show us the best ways to style them is Lorna Wavin. Good morning.
Good morning.
to you, Lorna. So shirts. I've got the collar, so I'm halfway there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
I should
without
have
the
sent you a brief. Sorry about that.
Yes, my bad. I should have known, to be honest with you. But listen, we mix it up.
Sophie's
Talk
our
to
first
us,
look
yeah.
today.
Yeah, so it's about, you think of shirts and you think very structured piece, you think workwear, but there's so many other ways of wearing it. But from street style to catwalk, there's actually been quite a lot of inspiration around. So we're going to start with the layered look.
Lovely.
And it's like literally shirt collar, cardigan collar, leather jacket collar. But the trick is to stack them all up. They're all slightly different kind of collars and lapels. So they all work quite well in tandem, and you're not kind of putting the same style of collar on top of one another, if you know what I mean. So you get that lovely kind of effortless, kind of more like a French street style kind of look, which I really like.
And the shirt
about
does
it.
look like it's from Cézanne.
Yeah, it does. It has a real kind of like feel to it, and it also has little lace cuffs on it.
Yeah.
So you get the balance of the really kind of masculine feel of the leather jacket against the real feminine detail of the shirt. So it's all of those balances and textures and differences that make it all stack up really nicely.
Gorgeous. Now the jeans, what style are they? Barrel?
They're not barrel.
No.
They're kind of like a straight slim, halfway between the two. So they're actually a little bit baggier on the hip, but they're narrower towards the ankles. And what's great about that is that they work so well with the flat shoe, which is how I've styled it today. So even at this time of year, yes, we're going out a bit, you might want to wear a heel. The flats are still really good to have, and a dressy flat is pretty easy to put by. So these ones are from Pennies. Yeah, they're great, and our whole outfit is from On Trend. And then just to finish it with accessories, because you've a lot going on with this look, you want to keep everything else a bit pared back. So just really simple earrings from Night and Day, which are lovely, and also make a very nice present if you want to give jewellery for someone, because they're a very classic, simple piece.
Leave them behind, please, Sophie. Thank you very much.
Do all your Christmas shopping.
Always
for
looking
you.
for presents. Audrey's up next. Here we go.
Audrey's next. So this is the next one where you've got a blazer. So you've got a long, kind of much deeper neckline, and you've got the collar of a shirt. But this is a kind of dressier look, and I love this kind of like almost tribute to 70s, 80s in this look. So when you've got the blazer collar and you've got the shirt collar, the easiest thing you can do is have two different textures. So we've got the navy sequin shirt, and you've got a double-breasted jacket that's actually a size up from what Audrey would usually wear. So you get that lovely oversized feel, but you still get to see what's underneath it, which is really important. So sometimes the shirts can get lost under a jacket. So this is a really easy way to get it to stand out. And also then with the pair of jeans, you've got this lovely kind of lighter wash. So all of the focus is really on the two statement pieces being the jacket and the shirt, and then you've got this lovely kind of light wash jean. And then
you've gone over with the shoes.
Over with the shoes, because it's my last show of the year. I'm going extra.
Fabulous.
They are amazing. These are all from Next. There's a bow on them. They're ankle. The heel height is really good, and they are actually cushioned on the inside as well. So if you're going out, you'll be well able to stand in them for the night.
Jewellery.
Yeah. To contrast, then I've got this lovely kind of mix of ruby red in the earrings, and there's a matching necklace as well from Night and Day. But also ruby red and navy and black are a lovely kind of. There's a tandem there between all of those colours. So you've got lovely different texture balance, but the collar still stands out. And just by putting in that lovely little pop of red around your neckline, it just finishes the whole look.
Thank you, Audrey. Cheers. Yumiko is our third look.
So we got a little hint of this earlier on.
Oh, yes.
This is a look I think I personally really feel I could definitely wear all the time. And it's that jumper shirt combination. There was a bit of a return of the sleeveless jumper this year and how to layer it.
Yeah.
And shirts are a great way to go with that. But also what we've had with this is like a half tuck.
Have you rolled it up? Yeah.
Not really. You've just tucked one
it.
side in and then left the rest out.
With the shirt you have. What about the jumper then?
The jumper is just slightly rolled up. So when you've got that elasticated bit at the bottom of a jumper, you're not really supposed to wear that out. It's for tucking up and under, so you give shape on a sweater, and gives a really nice layer effect. So when you've got all the collar of the jacket, and you've got that lovely open collar of the navy shirt, and the texture, Tommy's fixing his jumper now, and the balance of that lovely wool, and then you can actually see the shirt underneath all of that. So sometimes your shirt's going to get lost underneath all of those layers, but just with this little half tuck, looks really good. And also I've got it with jeans today, but it works really well with a pencil skirt as well. If you just want to kind of amp up your look and make it a little bit more dressy as well. These jeans have a slightly more barrel fit fit to
Right.
them. So when you're doing kind of this layered kind of barrel effect, you don't want to go with too much volume on your outfit because you've got volume on the jeans, you've got volume in the outfit. So it's about a little bit of balance.
Yeah,
and
the boots are lovely.
Aren't they really,
Yeah.
really nice? And there's a little bit of a patent effect there. So
Yeah.
we've got navies and greys and blues, so they're all in the same colour family.
Mm-hmm.
So you get that the shirt is really the centrepiece of the whole outfit. And then I've stacked loads of bracelets, which I love doing. And mixing your metals as well is a lovely kind of thing you can do too.
I do. Listen,
You don't
any old
mix your
jeweler.
metals,
I
though, do you?
don't mix my metals
No,
that
but
much,
just
no.
lots of
Stick with the
metals.
one metal if I possibly can.
Hey, right, Sophie's back.
Sophie's back with a very sophisticated look, and this is
Very
literally the full tuck of the shirt, so it's the whole way around. So with the shirt like this, it works better when you have a little bit of detail. So you'll notice there's actually a panel of boucle material
Yeah.
in this shirt that makes it look like it's a waistcoat,
Yeah.
which is really, really pretty. So the shirt actually has a lot more going on. So if you're going to wear it as your main piece, just make sure there's a little bit of detail.
Okay.
And this one is from On Trend. It also works really well with anything that's high to mid-rise, so skirts and jeans, rather than anything lower.
Okay.
So you get that really like nice proportion in your body by tucking it in.
They're great
too.
trousers.
Aren't they lovely?
Yeah,
now
they
there's
really-
a slight flare in them,
Yeah.
which is great. They're a leather look from On Trend, so they work well with just a little slip-on shoe or a boot.
Yeah, they'd be
So-
great with runners as well.
Really good
Yeah.
with runners too, or just a t-shirt, you know, or,
Yeah.
or something a bit more plain. And then these shoes have been doing the rounds a little bit over the season.
You can't
this is
get them.
the latest version of them, which is like a matte leather,
Yes.
and it looks really good with a cut-off trouser. So you just get that nice little
Lovely.
slide-on, slip-on effect. And then we've layered a little bit of jewellery with this because it's kind of got that Chanel effect.
Yeah.
We've got little pearl kind of inspired earrings, which have that like little circular detail that's kind of a tribute to the little bit of hardware on the shirt. And then the necklace is actually layered, so it's two necklaces in one, which is really lovely. And you've got the pearl and the gold, and you can get this in silver as well if you prefer a colder tone. But you'll notice they all kind of match in, but you can actually get them separately. But they just kind of have a little bit of continuity between the detail on the shirt and the jewellery.
Very posh, that outfit.
It's very
isn't it?
snazzy, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And we
I
got a
really
little,
like
we got a
it.
little look at Sophie's rock there as well
It's
for
a
a
look,
second. She
yes.
opened it, so I was like, "Ooh, that's very nice,
Oh,
Sophie."
no, thank you.
Lorna Waitman,
So-
as always, thank you so much.
Jumpers
Yeah, my pleasure.
tucked, then that's all I need to know.
That's all
Tuck
you
it
need
up.
to know.
There
You're
you
done,
go.
yeah.
Up and
Showing a bit of
under.
belly button then from the way.
Thank you,
Lorna,
Lorna.
thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks for everything this year. Now, coming
Yeah,
up, some must-have Christmas presents.
See you back here very shortly.
Hello, hello, welcome back. If you're stuck for a Christmas gift and want to support local, look no further. I'm here with Ciara Stanley from Coppina House Farm. Hello, how are you? Tell us about Coppina House Farm. You're a family-run business.
Yes, so myself and my husband, Robert, we have our farm shop in Tullow and Carlow. So we started off about 3 years ago with our beef boxes. So we decided to bring the beef direct to consumer. So
Is this the farm to fork movement?
Yeah. So where we are in Tullow, we're very, very lucky. We have a butcher who's about a mile from our farm gate. So it's really, really low food miles. So he's able to do everything for us. So in terms of food miles and beef food miles, we probably have, I would say, one of the lowest in the country.
Okay, so this is it. This is kind of what you have all going on here from your farm originally. So this is it. These are your
so
lovely cows.
We rear Wagyu cross beef. So really good
goodness.
beef. Yeah.
Happy cows?
Very happy
Very,
cows.
very, very happy cows. So it started as all this. How many years ago did it start?
So we started with our beef boxes roughly about 3 years ago, and we moved then into a small farm shop. And from our farm small shop, we now have a big farm shop with lots of Irish
You've
food.
expanded a lot in a few years.
In the last 2 years, it's kind of accelerated.
And is it all about Irish food?
It's all about Irish food. So from the moment that we started the shop, it was going to be Irish, and it was always going to be artisan food. We were very, very passionate about that. So obviously we wanted to support as much local Carlow businesses as we could. So we've done that, and then we've also taken on Irish brands as well.
That's lovely to have all of that, because you can see that it is an experience when you go into your farm shop.
Yeah, and it's a meeting and knowing your producer as well.
Yeah, and how is the local enterprise of it? How has it helped you?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, we get on really, really good with them, and Melissa and Kieran and all the gang there have been very, very supportive of us. Last year I won Female Entrepreneur with the Powerhouse, so yeah, it was a great a great year, and they've been very, very helpful, very, very supportive.
Yeah, because you kind of go into these businesses and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to... Like we were just talking to Eoghan Murphy, he's like, I didn't know how to be a politician.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing from being a farmer to now being this entrepreneur. With this, like you're selling clothes, you're selling fancy hats.
Yeah, so we do have a nice range of country-style shirts, and we have our boots and our hats, and a nice array, and it all kind of marries in very, very nicely together. So.
And I assume it's good for the people of Carlow, but also that you've got people travelling to you.
Exactly, yeah. We've people from all over the country travel up to us, especially for our beef boxes. You can buy online, so they go out all over the country, so it's fantastic. So this is how you'd get your beef box. It's all insulated with wool. So the wool will
Listen,
keep
it won't need to be insulated. I know a fellow over there that we had to keep away from the Wagyu beef because it'd be gone into his pocket. Listen, people can find you like Coppina House Farm Cure. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you very so much. Tommy is with another family business. Over to you, Tommy.
Oh, that does look nice, all right. Yes, I am here with Rachel Doyle, who set up Arboretum Garden Centre 47 years ago. Rach, good morning to you. Good morning, Tommy. Hey, listen, you're an award-winning garden centre, lifestyle centre as well. 47 years, that's incredible how the business has grown.
Yes, it's been an absolutely roller coaster, and I suppose it's a family-run business. My husband Frank joined me a few years after I set it up, and we have two sons, and they're back as directors and shareholders in the business. Barry CEO and Fergal CCO. So I have the succession planning done, which is I'm really pleased about. Everybody knows where to stand, and it's a great business. We have 3 centres, one in Loughlin in Carlow, which is our flagship store, which is on a 10-acre site, and then in 2014-15 we bought Kilquade in Wicklow, which is also the National Garden Exhibition Centre. So there's some lovely gardens there to visit, and Urban Green in Parnell Street.
The 3 of them. Yeah. For a horticulturalist, I mean, to set up something, how many years ago to turn it into this is amazing. Like, how many people do you employ then in the 3 centres?
200, which I never wanted it to be that big, but it's just grown and organically, and you have to take on more staff and more staff and more staff. But we have the Arboretum Academy, so we teach, all our staff go through a training process so that they're all built, they all know our ethos and what we believe in. And that's really important to the Doyle family.
And you talk about that, everything, if you go for foods, the little biscuit that you get made in the kitchen, the white, everything is all built on site as well, put together on site as well. You're very important and passionate about supporting Irish as well, though. How important is that for the future of the business?
It's hugely important. And sustainability is hugely important. We just won the Best Retailer in Ireland Sustainability Award with Retail Excellence Ireland. But if you look at these plants, and I'd say to anyone who's going to buy poinsettias for Christmas, everyone knows what the poinsettia is. These you have to buy them Irish grown. Don't please buy them that have come in on 40-foot containers and they are dead, because the fresh Irish ones, and they're sturdy, and they'll go on. And this is a bract, this is the flower. So the flowers you can see, Tommy, they haven't opened up, they're yellow. So they're just starting to give of themselves.
So this is the sort of service that you get when you go to Arboretum as well. It's not just about selling everything, it's about the knowledge and everything.
No, and the staff will always cover it with a sheet of paper, because if not, by the time you take it from the garden centre out to your car, it has got cold, and it likes a sort of a sitting room where there's constant heat.
Well, it's absolutely gorgeous, the setup here as well. And I know Santa was there at the weekend. He's left reindeers behind and everything else. But Rachel Doyle from Arboretum, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And now Warren's got something, so it's a bit sparkly, Warren.
I got to come to the sparkles. I'm so happy. I'm here with Philip Bramley from Bramley's Jewellers. You have got some beautiful jewels here. But tell us a little bit, Philip, about your family and the history of your jewellers.
Yes, well, my grandparents started the business in 1946 in Carlow. And then my own parents developed it after that. And now at the moment, myself and my brother, we've taken it over and we're running the business.
And you do lots of things. Obviously, you've got new jewellery, but you do bespoke pieces and you restore vintage jewellery?
Yeah, I have a few bespoke pieces I've actually made here.
You made these?
Just before the show. Yeah, I was under pressure last week to get these done. But we got them, knocked them out of the park, and I have a few little presents here as well for yourself and Tommy.
Look at this. You made Ireland AM chains. Oh, Pete's gone the other way. He's gone to look at the lovely jewels. This says Ireland AM, and Tommy, there's Ireland AM cufflinks.
And there's a diamond in that as well, Tommy.
No way.
A bit more sparkle. You know?
Oh, he is so fancy, isn't it? So you do stuff like this. Bespoke people can come in and ask you for something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Love upcycling jewellery. It's like you can get whatever you have, you can make into whatever you want. There's no limitations on what you need, what you like. You know.
But you'd also, I assume, you'd be able to give people a steer because you know, like I might want something I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, but once you get talking to people, after a while, you'll know what they want. They'll already told you, but they won't know they've told you.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's mental. You could sit down for an hour with somebody. They could bring in so much stuff, the grandparents' jewellery, and you could say, "Well, I want this," and you can actually manufacture it using the old hallmarks, and you can actually still see it, and you can still see, say, people had a bereavement, say their father passed away, and they wanted to bring in their father's wedding ring, you know, and use it on their day, but not wear it as a wedding ring. I can make it into a pendant, and you could use that, you know, or put into a charm. I've done all that over the years.
They're just so, like, these are absolutely beautiful. So obviously you've got a lot of people coming in. Engagement season.
Yep, absolutely flat out the whole time. I love doing vintage work. If I can get vintage work, people bring in old vintage rings. They've already had 100 or 200 years. Restoration of those. Yeah, it's fantastic.
So beautiful. And the local enterprise office, like everyone's here, like you've all got
that's the reason we're here, Carlo. They are so good. They're so supportive. Like we have an award-winning website, and that's all down to them. They're mentoring and all the courses that they run. It's fantastic. You couldn't do it without them.
Fair play. It's absolutely beautiful. Bramley's Jewellers, and it is in Carlo's. Well, everything is here from Carlo's. Well, I have to bring this over and show it to Tommy, this little thing. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Tommy's going to tell us what's coming up tomorrow. Oh, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Get those cufflinks over here quick. Yes, coming up on tomorrow's Ireland singer Amy is going to be playing her new Christmas single.
Looks real cool with your necklace.
No, the cufflinks.
No, let's get your necklace. We're running through some of the best and brightest books of 2024.
All that plus your news, sport, and whether you're waking up to join us for Ireland We're back tomorrow morning from 7.
Sure.
Very snazzy, isn't it?
Very fancy.
Have a great day.
Bye, have a good one.